Okay, let's start then. Let me just check recording. Right. So today we are talking about grammatical morphemes. Okay, we talked about content morphemes the class before, and now grammatical morphemes. Now, grammatical morphemes are words that can have an internal structure, much like the syntax of phrases. Okay, when I talk about grammatical morpheme, I'm talking about the syntax of the word. Morphemes such as the plural s or the third person final s or re uh, as a prefix near the grammatical end of the continuum are called grammatical morphemes because they play a grammatical role in the word. Okay? Grammatical morphemes include forms that we can consider to be words, like the, a, and, the prepositions and the connectives, the conjunctions, okay, and others that are simply parts of the words, like the final s, the final ed, or um, the genitive, okay, apostrophe s, okay, like pencils and walked. Both the final s and the final ed are grammatical morphemes because they are there to fulfill a grammatical need, a need to provide number, a need to provide verb tense. Okay, so grammatical morphemes, those grammatical morphemes happen to be at the same time inflectional. Okay, inflectional morphemes are grammatical per excellence. Now, what are the differences between each type of morpheme? Take this. Sorry. And what is the function of each type of morpheme? Computador de talento, esse. Isso, anima bastante o slide, aí fica rápido com a beleza. Não foi pensado para ser gravado? Oh gosh. Gente, tenhamos paciência. Agora travou tudo. Que beleza. Eu não tô com pressa. Okay, so what's the difference between content and lexical morphemes? Content and lexical words and function or grammatical words. Let's take content words. Content words denote concepts such as subjects, actions, and ideas. They can be nouns, adjectives, verbs, and adverbs. I think this is related to what you told me last class about the uh, anthropocultural meaning. Yeah, content words have an anthropocultural meaning. Content words are open class words. That means that new words can be formed from these content words. Uh, Example of new words, for example, steganography, the art of hiding information in electronic text. Okay, this is a word that came from graphy. Stagan is another is a kind of another root. Yeah, I have two roots and a filler joining these two roots. Okay, forming a new word according to the needs we have in the language to create words. Now, function words express grammatical functions. Okay, so let's go back in the difference. Content words express uh, naming actions, naming objects. Function words express grammatical function, verb inflection, plural, etc. Or in this case, prepositions, articles, conjunctions, and pronouns. Okay, so they are there to provide the function. Function words connect the content words to the larger grammatical context. So they work as a kind of cement uh, to put bricks together. Okay. Function words are also called closed class words. Why? Because you will hardly see cases in which a function word is derived into another one. Okay? No new words added to this class. You cannot invent a preposition. Okay? You cannot come up with a new conjunction. Okay, certainly there are certainly prepositions that come from the joining of two other prepositions, like into, in plus to. But this is definite in the language. Okay, I cannot create more elements. Okay, so this was what, in fact, this was what was left from last class, which we had no time to discuss. And today I'll discuss with you another aspect of morphosyntax, which is word formation. Okay, and then next class I have a couple of exercises for you again. So here we really start the new topic, and this is all about how are English words formed. How can we form new words? Well, did we have like 25 to 30 years ago the word rewritable in English? Now, when there comes a technological advance that enables that gives me the possibility of having a media like a rewritable DVD, I have to name it. Okay? So English words are formed from the roots, the prefixes, the suffixes. But there is a rule for that. There is an order to be followed. Okay? And this is what we are going to discuss. Different types of words from different formations get together to form new words. We have derived words. Well, derived words are composed of a root and another morpheme that I call a derivational morpheme. Okay? An example of a derived word, could you give me? Amanda, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? What's your job? So you are a teacher. So what do you do? What's the relationship between teach and teacher? We have the same root, and who is derived of which word is derived of which? Teacher is derived of the verb to teach, okay, of the root teach, okay, not of the verb. It is derived from teach. We have what we call lexical gaps. Now, what are lexical gaps? Um, can I talk about, for example, inventation? Do we have the word inventation? Of course, I'm inventing this word. Inventation is a lexical gap. There is the rule in the morphosyntax, there is the rule in the morphology that tells me there is a suffix shan, uh, a and shan, but I cannot apply this rule indiscriminately in all words. Okay, although the rule exists, the word does not. So a lexical gap is a case of a word that, although there is a rule saying it's possible, when I apply the rule to the word to derive it, the word does not exist. Okay, so are those words that we playing around, we invent, yeah, when we don't know how to speak in English, but they don't happen to be in the dictionary, so they are lexical gaps. Okay, they are exactly this, uma lacuna lexical. Não está lá, não existe, mas a regra diz que eu poderia criar. Né? Why does inventation does not exist? Because invention does exist. And uh, my mistake here was to put the filler a, yeah, that in many other words with the same features, it's possible to put that filler, but not in the case of invention. We also have words called compounds, okay? Uh, and compounds, we have to be careful to make a difference between compounds and noun phrases. When we go to syntax, we'll discuss the noun phrase. Take the case of a white house and the White House. A white house, any house painted white, is a noun phrase. This expression, white house, is a noun phrase. It's a phrase in which the core, the head, is a noun. In this case, I have white and house, both are nouns, but house is the core of this noun phrase. Now, when I talk about the White House, there is a difference even in stress in the word. When I say the White House, I'm talking about a compound. This is written together in one word, okay? So it's a compound word. We have acronyms. Acronyms should not be confused with abbreviation, truncation, and clipping. Acronyms are things like UFMA or NASA or I don't know NU. When I get the not NU, UN, United Nations. Yeah. So when I get the initials to form a kind of a new word with that, because everybody that talks about the NASA knows what I'm talking about, but the National Agency for Spatial whatever, I don't remember by heart now. So it's an acronym, okay? We have many acronyms, even in both in English and in Portuguese. The examples in Portuguese for us are more familiar, of course. All the political parties are composed of acronyms. PSDB, PT, PMDB, they are all acronyms, okay? And abbreviations are not exactly the same, okay? Abbreviations are like, for example, you go to the dictionary and you see this kind of an entry here. Like, fortunately. Hi, Paulo. How do you do? Did you like the square of 666? Mandou quadradinho de 666. Chegaram a ver? Não? É a versão Wenger do quadradinho de 8. So, when you go to the dictionary and you search for fortunate, you see this. What does that mean? Adverb. Okay, this is an abbreviation. Or what does that mean? Forget this, okay? This has nothing to do anymore. What does that mean? Have you seen this? Are you familiar with this? Probably you are familiar with this together with this. Oops. Yes, but this is the English abbreviations, like Professor, Master of Science. Okay, and because of I don't know if because of a reason to connect the academy in Brazil, people tend to use that abbreviation, but the correct abbreviation would be this one in Portuguese. Yeah, but this is the international standard. PhD, yeah, philosophy doctor, yeah. Although many PhDs know nothing about philosophy, yeah, but it stands for philosophy doctor. So in Portuguese, if you want to abbreviate a professor master, you have to use prof.me. In English, it's m.sc. Also, MA. This is your general knowledge. What's the difference of... No, 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 I don't want to do this. Prof. Now, what's the difference between this and this? There is a difference. This is Master in Arts. This is Master of Science. Now, linguists normally tend to use Master of Science because of the heritage Saussure left for us. Yeah, we believe we are science. Uh, Literary critics normally use Master in Arts. Uh, and it's very interesting that the courses... yesterday was the day of the professional in language and literature. Yeah, there is no such a thing in English called letras. So it's very interesting for you to know that the equivalent for your course in the United States, in England, in the Anglophone countries, is language. And literature is not necessarily contemplated. So there is a course named language and another one named arts, liberal arts. Letra seria liberal arts. And then you have a vast panorama of all artistic expressions. That's why master in arts, okay? In UFSCar and in Unicamp. Unicamp it's only linguistics. Um, so this is another approach for the thing. This course named Letras comes from how can I say, an Iberic and Francophone tradition. Yeah, it's an influence of Portugal, Spain, and France more than from the Anglo-Saxons. The Anglo-Saxons normally split these two areas, even in the basic process of formation. Now, going back to the topic, so we have to wait it for loading again. We have the derived words, the lexical gaps, the compounds, the acronyms, the abbreviations that we were just talking about, uh, the eponyms, and the blends. Okay, the blends are pretty much similar to the eponyms, but there is a certain difference. Okay, sorry, to the compounds, but there is a certain difference that we have to discuss when the moment comes. Now, when I have new words with new meanings formed, I have derived words. Okay, create new words with new meanings from the root plus the derivational morpheme. Irregular, dislike, undo, and represent are just a few examples. I'd like to check your own examples. Paulo, do you think headbanger fits in that example? Headbanger has a very complex process of formation because headbanger, first, how many roots are there in the word headbanger? Bang, we have head, banger. You decompose this word. Head, bang, Well, if you take a look at this suffix, what kind of suffix is this? Inflectional or derivation? Headbanger are those people like Paulo who like the metal. Metal! Okay, bang is like, you know, yeah, like people who shake their heads. Yeah. Uh, so banger is the one that does this action. This part here is when I have bang as a verb, and then I have banger, who's the guy who does that. I can say in this part in blue. Now, when I put these two parts together in one word, I have a process of compound. Very good, Amanda. This word is a compound word that is the root and another word that has already been derived. Okay, so I have two processes of word formation for the word anger. You see what anger has to do with morphosyntax? Yeah. Okay, so going back. Now, this then is compound. Let's think about other compound words that we can, so that I can check if you understood what compounds mean. I gave you the example of White House. I gave you the example of headbanger. What are you studying? What's the name of this subject? Morphosyntax. Morphosyntax is a compound word. Morpho and syntax. Okay. Uh, in fact, it's not really a compound because it's morphology and syntax. Where is the logic? So let's keep morphosyntax, put it in the drawer for the next few minutes. I'll talk to you about morphosyntax. The illusion is that this is a compound, but this is not really a compound. It's a blend. It's a blend, and I'll tell you why. Think of other words. Sorry, pretty new. Three words. Yeah, but that have a compound with three words put together. Okay, it's possible, but we must be aware if this word is dictionary. Otherwise, it could be a lexical gap. It could be a lexical gap. If it's not in the dictionary, if it's a kind of, how can I say, recurso estilístico or something like that, it's a lexical gap. Well, biology. Most of the subjects you study in college and high school are compound words. Biology. What else? Morphology. Yes, morphology is a compound word. Mythology. Mythology. Yes, yes. So, lexical gaps are exactly that, Amanda. When you can form the word because the rule is there, it's well formed, but non-existent. It's not. Uh, reason is is that there is a permissible sequence that has no meaning attached to it, like, for example, blick or slarm or crope. Okay, like blink and lick. But there's no meaning for that. Womanizer. Yeah. So there are possible combinations. I'm sorry, let me correct this. Combinations. Save. There are possible combinations of morpheme that never come into use, like disobvious or linguisticism. Okay, so these are the cases in which we call them lexical gaps. Okay, because there is the rule; it's possible to form the word, but it doesn't exist. Yeah, the language of John is fundamented in lexical gaps. Words like Nick is not a lexical gap in English because it does not allow the sequence of being and English does not allow this. Okay? So it's not a lexical gap. So to be a lexical gap, it's not enough. It's not enough to be non-existent. It has to follow a rule that does exist, but the word does not. Okay? Not really, because neologisms do exist and they mean something. They mean something. Lexical gaps are well formed. They are well formed words, but with no semantic content. Okay, they mean nothing. Yeah. Yes. Now compounds. Okay, compounds. Instead of root plus uh, prefix or suffix, I have root plus root or word plus word. Okay, a compound word, the meaning in a compound word, the meaning may or may not change. If you take the case of the White House is also a house painted white. Okay, but that does not need to be always like that. So when the two words are in the same grammatical category, they are the same part of speech, both are verbs or both are nouns, okay? The compound in this category as well. If I get two nouns together, white house, white and house, white house is also a noun. Okay? If I put together two adjectives, uh, these will also be an adjective. Homework is an example. It's home plus work. Home is a noun, work is a noun, homework is a noun. White House, the classical example. Okay. Now compounds can be more than two words. Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear, Amanda. Dance club. Yes, dance club is a compound. Very good, dance club. Yes. In this case, two word compound, but there are compounds that can be even longer. They can be two-word compounds, like you saw, most common in English, but they can also be three-word compounds, like a three-time loser. Okay, a three-time loser is, you know what it means? It's a guy that is really a loser. Okay, you are a three-time loser. So this this is a compound. We have forward. I'm sorry about this. There is a hyphen I forgot here. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a compound. And for example, four-word compounds like a four-dimensional space-time. Okay, we are used to the b-dimensional space-time. Yeah, but we can have the four-dimensional space-time. Don't ask me what it is because I decided to quit physics when the professor talked about this four-dimensional thing. Okay, I cannot see even in three dimensions. Imagining four. Now, can you recall any other examples of compounds in English? Dance club, Amanda said. For, today it's hard for me. I cannot listen very well. How do you spell that? First. Okay, first serve. Okay, is it with hyphen? Do you know? If it's with hyphen, it's most probably a compound. Yeah. Or if it's spelled together. To be a compound, it should either be graphed with hyphen or be spelled together. Okay. Now, what's the meaning of compounds? Meaning is normally the same as the parts. Okay. A boat house is a house for boats. We can also have cases in which there is a new meaning, but the meaning is related to the meaning of the individual parts. A blackboard can be in other colors and not just black, but we still call it a blackboard. Yeah. In fact, now people tend to call a whiteboard, but as you can see, my whiteboard today is kind of pink. Yeah. So, sorry. Yeah, it's a dirty board. Yeah. So it should not be black, neither black nor white, to be a blackboard. Yeah. So, but the meaning, uh, let's say that there is a memory here that everybody knows what a blackboard is, even if it's not black. A red coat is not someone wearing a red coat like a little red rooster. It's a slang for a British soldier during the American Revolutionary War because they used to wear a red coat. So, a red coat spelled together refers to a kind of soldier that used to wear a red coat. Okay, like a redneck. You know what a redneck is? Do you know the slang for redneck? Yes, in Tosca English, a redneck is a caipiration. Yeah. So how would you translate caipirinha for English, for Tosca English? A little redneck. Yes. A redneck is a guy from the south of the United States. Okay. Normally, it's related to agriculture, to a rural universe. Okay. There, there's a country song by Alan Jackson, which is named "It's All Right to Be a Redneck." Yeah. Okay, so these are all examples of compound words. Okay. Take this. What's that? Is that a blackbird or a blackbird? Pay attention to my tone of voice. Is that a blackbird or a blackbird? Did you see the difference in stress? Blackbird, blackbird. 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 Number one or number two? What is this? It's a little penguin. Yeah? Now, are penguins black? Is this penguin black at least? Are penguins birds? So can I call it a black bird? I can certainly call this a black bird, but never a black bird. You know the Beatles' Blackbird singing in the dead of night? Do you think John Lennon was talking about this or this blackbird? This is a blackbird. Is this a compound? No. This is the blackbird. And now I have a compound. Okay? The Tudus merula is what we call a blackbird. Okay? One more example. You like that dog? Amanda, can you say that dog is hot? You know the slang hot, yeah? Hot meaning cool. Cool and hot are kind of opposite, but as an adjective they work the same. Can we say that is a hot dog? You don't like that dog? I like that dog. I think it's hot. But never a hot dog. Well, in China, maybe no, in Korea, maybe he can become a hot dog, but never in Brazil. Okay, so this is the difference. Okay, so here on the left, I have only two words, maybe working together in a sentence, and in the second box here on the right, I have a compound word between hot and dog. But what happened to the meaning? Is the meaning related? Meaning is kind of different. Okay? So this is the case. In the previous case, meaning is deeply related. Yeah, the blackbird is really a blackbird. Now, in the second case, we have a semantic distance from what means a hot dog and a hot dog. One more example. Imagine these are, I'm building some furniture for my house and I need to choose the wood. And then I decided to choose this color. What color is this? Come on, English 1. What color is this? Red. So, can I say it's a red wood? Isn't this a red piece of wood? This is red and this is wood. So it's red wood, but never redwood. Which is also known as giant sequoia. Do you understand compounds now? The difference? Now, the redwood is not so distant from the idea of a redwood, because if you cut the stem, you will find a red, a kind of red color. But one thing is redwood, and another thing is redwood. Okay, I almost got crazy when I took morphosyntax with a professor because he said redneck and redneck, and I could not see the difference. I'm trying to force the difference, but in this course, this difference is very subtle, and you have to be aware when you listen to the conversation. But the context, of course, will give you a very good clue of uh, what the person means. Now, acronyms. Acronyms are very simple. A very simple kind of word formation, kind of process. You just have to be aware not to confuse it with abbreviations. Okay? Acronyms are words derived from the initial of several words. NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Agency. UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. Can you remember more? A PAI, yeah, a Associação de Pais, Associação de alguma coisa de apoio ao excepcional, yes. A PAI, what else? In English. NCL, yeah, which in fact is NCL because it's Núcleo de Cultura Linguística. If Professor Monica Carneiro hear me giving you this explanation, she will get mad at me, but CCAA, not CCAA. Why? How should you pronounce the acronym? In the native language. Yeah. CCAA is an acronym in Portuguese, Centro de Cultura Anglo-Americano. It's never, but CCLS, yeah, okay, Cultural Center for Language Studies, okay. So I don't know what CNA or CNA stands for, but you have to check. If it means something in Portuguese, you should pronounce it CNA. If it means something in English, then you should pronounce it CNA. Now, why do you think there is a reason for them to insist on saying CCAA, not CCA? In the 80s, they used to say CCA, no problem. Why do they insist now on CCAA? A gente vai ter que ir para análise cultural e aí vira tema de língua, cultura e identidade. Pelo mesmo motivo, for the same reason that when Falcão recorded Black People Car, which was Fuscão Preto, he was able to sell more copies than Almir Rogério when he recorded the original Fuscão Preto. Because people tend to believe everything is in English is good, is modern, is... Joe's Mother House. Ela criou a grife. Eu vou falar para ela criar uma versão daquela da prova do meu irmão, né? Did I tell you about? Yes. Yeah, yeah, very good. Yeah, this is a topic more for language, culture, and identity. But if you take, for example, the case of Sepultura, they have to sing in English in order to be successful. If they don't sing in English, there is no. I wouldn't say there is no heavy metal in Portuguese, but you hardly ever listen to heavy metal in Portuguese. Yeah, yeah. Now, I don't know if I told you about the case of my brother. My brother, we have no sister, and my brother was taking English, one of those intensive courses which you take every day, and he was doing a test, and there was a question: where does your sister live? My brother got tricked. How will I answer this question if I don't have a sister? And he simply does not take the idea of inventing. So he thought for some 5 minutes and wrote, "My sister lives in Caralho's house." That's all. And then the director of the school called him. What did you do here? Is the grammar correct? Yes. So I should pass because I have no sister and I don't like to invent. So I wrote what I think. But it's like the Joe's mother house. Very good. Well, so acronyms, if you take all the political parties in Brazil, PT, PSTU, PMDB, they are all acronyms, okay? Uh, If you take PSOL, PSOL is not a perfect acronym. PSOL is more the case of joining an acronym and an abbreviation, because it's Partido, Socialismo e Liberdade. Where is the O? The O belongs to socialism. PSOL é uma mistura de acronym e abbreviation. Okay? Não saberia como traduzir acronym em português. Alguém sabe? Oi? Sigla. Ótimo. Obrigado. Tão óbvio que estava na cara. Sigla. So, abbreviations are, so new information. Abbreviations of longer words or phrases that can become lexicalized. Okay? Like fax. Originally, it was facsimile. And then, fax. Tele, for television. Yes, Bart. Yes, Bart. Bartholomew's. Elizabeth, Lisa. Maggie for Margaret. Yes, Lizzie. Maggie. You know Maggie, my friend Maggie Thatcher. Yeah. Margaret. Yeah. I really loved Maggie Thatcher. I know a few British that also love Mary Thatcher. Maggie. Yeah, yeah. Iron Maiden, by the way, was her nickname. Yeah. Now, do you know what the Iron Maiden is? Yeah, the Iron Maiden is a medieval instrument of torture designed especially for men to put where you think, where you were thinking. It's like made of iron and with a lot of teeth. Very nice. So that's why she was called Iron Maiden. Dama de Ferro não é porque ela era forte, né? É porque ela era literalmente um pé, né? Yeah, let's put it this way. Uh, eponyms. The next class of words are eponyms. Eponyms are words formed from proper names. Okay. Examples. Alexandrine. It comes from Alexander the Great. We have the Alexandrine verses, which make a reference to Alexander the Great. Marxist comes from Marx. More examples. Arthurian from the King Arthur. What else? Alzheimer's disease. Okay, it comes from Dr. Alois Alzheimer. Okay, that discovered the disease. More? Machadiano, Caetaniá, so on. Okay, Foucaultian from Michel Foucault. Okay, so eponyms are words that recall a proper name to give a name for a concept, a kind of group, or to turn these proper names into adjectives, like he is Marxist, he is Stalinist, he is uh, uh, I don't know. There are Freudian, yeah, like Platonic, that comes from Plato, okay, and so on. So these are eponyms. Finally, the blends. On the blends, we should recall what the what the compounds are, not to make confusion with the blends. Blends are similar to compounds. But the parts of the words that are combined are sometimes they are deleted. Okay, some parts disappear in order to make it possible for the words to link, to get together. Okay, do you have the time? Let me see. Wow, I'll finish blends and then we finish the class because. Okay. So, for example, smog. It's a mixture of smoke and fog. Yes, the word smog exists. It's not a lexical gap. Okay. Motel, motor hotel. It's a kind of hotel in which you park your car in front of your apartment. Just that. Okay. Motel is not necessarily the semantic construction we gave for it in Brazil. Yeah. Uh, Even here in the northeast and north, pousada has a completely different meaning from pousada in the southeast. Yeah. Here in Maranhão, it can have both meanings: a hotel for you to sleep, or what we call a motel. I called a pousada in Belém when I was going for a contest for with PA, and oh, how about the rates, the daily rates? Oh no, it's not daily rates, it's hourly. I said, what? And then I realized what kind of a place was that. Spoon plus fork gives a spork. You know what a spork is? This utensil here. Spork. Yeah, there's one at home. I think it's for salad. I don't know, I use it for salad. Cybernetic plus organism. And then you have a cyborg. Notice that in all these words, parts of one or of both words disappear. A cyborg here for you. Okay? So, next class we'll discuss the. Uh, oh, how nice! We finished morphology. Okay, so next class we start with syntax. Before that, I'll make available for you a review. Okay, it's the last semester's review, but it works for you, and we can start talking about our exams. Okay, when do you think it's a good date for the exam? How about June 5? What do you think? 5 de junho. Opa, será que eu tô tomando tempo da aula de alguém?